All right, everybody, good evening and welcome to another episode of Game Wisdom Live for the week of July 20th, 2017. Joining me again from Indie Voyage, co-founder as well as Twitch streamer, Robert Leach.
Hello.
Rob has his setup hooked up this time, so you can now see both of us for tonight. So, if you missed last week, I know, Rob, you are getting ready for your big move at the next week, so we won't be seeing you that week, but hopefully you'll have a easy move and we'll catch you the week after.
Yeah, that is the hope.
Of course it is.
Fingers crossed.
So, how are you doing this very, very warm week, at least for me around here?
I'm doing pretty good. It's been temperate over here, so I've been enjoying it. Yeah, we just basically just got our thoughts towards moving next week, so late next week. It's nerve-wracking.
Definitely the best of luck with that, Rob, and ideally nothing will get lost in the shuffle there. That's always
Yeah, thanks so much.
worst possible nightmare, especially if you're like me, you have like a ton of stuff just like hanging around all over the place.
Yeah, that's exactly how it is.
I guess for me, in terms of updates for Game Wisdom, we have a new Patreon donator, and thank you so much to, I believe his name is Anthony. Like I always say, whether you donate $1, $50, whatever, every dollar counts, and I really do appreciate the support from everyone enjoying the content here. And we've been hovering around 2,100 subscribers for the last few days, so fingers crossed we'll be able to get over that threshold and keep going soon. But I know, of course, that it is Comic-Con week, so that kind of puts a huge stop for a lot of non-comic book related stuff. Although I did hear that about old shows and such. Have you ever heard of the show Rocko's Modern Life, Rob, from like
Oh
Nickelodeon?
yeah, yes, I remember that one. Yeah,
They finally announced there's going to be a reboot. I think it's a TV movie coming soon. So they
oh,
showed
that's
like a few
crazy.
minutes of it.
Yeah, that's cool. I watched that when it was on.
Definitely one of my favorites, and we could probably spend like a good 40 minutes on about classic shows like that. For the other news for this week, I finally finished the Darkest Dungeon after about, I think it's been like a year and a half of having that game and just having trouble with it. So I can finally say that I've mastered the dungeon, and we can finally move on to something else. So I'll be making a update video about this in the coming days, but for those of you watching this, I am taking suggestions for a streaming Let's Play series here on the channel. Right now, for tonight, I will be starting Diablo 3 Season 11, and then the plan is after that's done to probably move on to some of these Zachtronics plays I've been promising, and maybe sprinkling in some Axiom Verge. You've heard that game, right, Rob?
I have. I don't. It's not coming to mind. I just have the name in my head.
It's the Metroid style game, very pretty much old school 2D pixel graphics kind of game.
Oh, okay.
It's been out for a while now. I played some of it like a year and a half, 2 years ago, but I never finished it. So this will kind of be my chance to go through that. But yeah, besides those games, I'm kind of stuck right now in terms of what else to turn into a Let's Play series. So for those of you watching, if you have any suggestions, let me know in the comments below. In other news, I've been slowly but surely working on my first presentation for September regarding esports. I'm about 20 slides into that, so I'm hoping to get that one done in the coming week. And that way into August, the Patreon special one where people can tune in to watch will be available. And that's the one I'm going to be working on regarding speed running and kind of the growing culture on that. And this is funny, Rob. I was looking at, I have high score records over at Twin Galaxies that I set like way back in 1994, 1995.
Oh, wow.
So I thought, I'm going to put in my world rating like on a screenshot on my side. And look, I'm number 2 now. I'm like, oh no, what happened? And I was like thinking to myself, now I understand the King of Kong. Now I know why all that happened.
And which game was this?
I got number 1 in, I think it was Captain America and the Avengers, the old arcade game way back then.
Gotcha. That's like a brawler, right?
Yeah, the Dungeons, not Dungeons Dragons, Double Dragon, Final
Yeah.
Fight-esque, yeah. But yeah, I lost my #1 rating, so I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do anymore.
Get that practice going again.
Just stop all this and just like say everyone Game Wisdom has to go on hiatus while I have to work to get my world record back.
Yeah.
Let's see, anything else Game Wisdom related? I think that's about it. So I'll make those update videos. I have a few games I want to talk about that I've been playing this week that I've been really enjoying getting into, and of course I want to hear what you've been doing as well, Rob. So, I guess before we get to that, let's see if there's anything interesting going on Gamma Sutra. We were just talking about this before we started the stream. There was a post made regarding protecting your Steam keys and the ever present threat of basically people scamming game keys and such. And as I'm sure you are no doubt aware of, there have been plenty of instances of that where people will say, hey, if you give me 20 game keys, I'll do a giveaway, I'll mention your game and stuff like that. And it's gone to the point where a lot of people are very distrusting of these emails out of the blue.
Yeah, I know we've touched on this topic a little bit in the past, but certainly it's close to my heart. Yeah, it's crazy how innovative some of these emails are, and then you just do a little bit of digging and you find out that they're completely false. It doesn't take much to realize if they're false or not, but it's amazing how many you get. It really is.
I just realized my little sign back there, the E, is starting to tear down there. Let's see if I can get back up. There we go. Yeah, and when it comes to these kinds of scams, it has become a very big deal, especially for first-time developers who will see, any email, any publicity like that as, the light at the end of the tunnel, and it's very easy to get burned on that.
Oh yeah, yeah. It is. I think he has a good phrase in there. It's preying on the desperate or something like that. Preying on hope. That's what he says, and I think that is an appropriate phrase because exactly when it's so competitive out there, and you have this new game, and you just need people to see it, and then you have all these people who are like saying, "Hey, could you give me a key?" and "Hey, give me a few more keys for a giveaway," and you're like, "Oh, definitely, here you go," and you just send it out to them. I know the article writer suggests keeping track of every single Steam key, and that is, I can't even imagine the work that goes into that, because you can request thousands and thousands of keys, and so sending those out and tracking all of them it's garbage. It's hard.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, Elgar is saying, unless you get those awkward, you're not big enough. Yeah, I made a tweet about this. I sent a request to a developer, and he sent something back saying, I know about I love your work on Kama Sutra, but I don't think you're big enough to help my game. So I'm afraid I'm not going to give you any keys.
See, that kind of burns me a little bit, because any press is good press if it's legitimate.
Yeah.
We have several YouTubers with like 10 or 20 people, and we're just happy because someone's playing the game, and if one or two people like it, then that's another purchase. So it's there's no real bad press there unless there's no press at all.
Yeah. Or if there's someone saying, I want 30 keys, or I want 10, 15 keys for a giveaway. And that's one of the things, like, even if developers send me multiple keys, like, I'm just fine with using the one. Like, I will never ask someone that, give me 40 keys and I'll review your game, kind of thing.
Yeah, and you find out over time that most people don't do giveaways. I mean, occasionally you'll find someone who does that, but really, people just are talking about the game, and that's all they're trying to do.
And I got the same response from a lot of people I mentioned on Twitter too, regarding that it is free publicity. There is no reason not to go for it, especially if someone is contacting you. That's the thing that also kind of burns me the wrong way. It's not like this person's like trying to reach out for people. Someone's saying, hey, I won't give you free publicity. Would you be willing to do something? And they're like, no, we don't want it.
Yeah, and I feel like that is another problem. If you're a small game and there's a small YouTuber out there, it's mutually beneficial. It's kind of you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. I don't see the problem there at all.
Yep. And unfortunately, I've gotten a few of those like that in the past. And unfortunately, you can change their minds once they made up like that.
Yeah.
Now, I guess for you, Rob, from the article that was posted, he mentioned, of course, several tips and things to watch out for. So, I guess from your own perspective, would there be anything that should be added to that list?
Yeah, there's really only one thing I find works, and that's just follow up on the email. A lot of times they'll give you a link to a YouTube page, and so you're like, oh, that YouTube page exists, and they have 1,000 viewers. So yeah, totally. All you have to do is go to the actual about page and click on it, and you can see that the email is not the same email. And most of the time, I will just email the person from that specific email and just say, hey, I got an email from here. Is this you? And 99% of the time, they're like, nope, weird. I already know that about that person. Sorry.
Yeah, and I agree with you with that, Rob. That, and for any developers watching this, I think the biggest thing you can do is just to do a little bit of digging with any email like that. I know that either this was mentioned on the post or someone left a comment about this, but if the person doesn't have anything vetted on the email, ask them for qualifications for a Twitter account, Twitch page, YouTube, anything like that. Because again, 100% of the time they're going to want to give that stuff. I mean, you've seen the emails I've sent you. I include links to everything that I'm a part of right in the what is that even called? Like that little bottom part, the footer, I guess, is that?
Yeah.
The footer of it, that
Signature.
Signature.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's always great when you forget those words like that. Oh, hi, Demonic. Thanks for coming on. Yeah, that's all right. I'll be doing some streaming later if you're able to make it. But yeah, getting back to the topic, like, you should be, or most people are more than willing to share their qualifications, especially when it's legitimate. So it's one of those things that it's a simple thing that should be a part of everything. And I know when I do that, I'm sure developers appreciate the fact that I'm including it right there. You don't need to do any digging. You don't need to look me up. It's right there in black and white. But another thing that I think we talked about this the last time we brought up key scammers is if they are talking about something on Twitch, that you can search someone's Twitch channel to see the last few broadcasts. I think it's you probably remember this more than I, since you're on Twitch more than me. Don't they hold, or they archive, like the last 12 days or 18 days?
Oh, it's more. I think it's 60 days almost.
Yeah. So you can see very clearly if someone is an actual Twitch streamer, much like how you can see someone if they're actually a YouTuber. And there's flies now buzzing around me. That's great. But like, all this is simple stuff you can do that will ultimately allow you to vet someone. Because at the end of the day, you do have to keep an eye out for this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, and the streamers and game developers alike, because it doesn't help a YouTuber, someone like yourself, if someone's posing as you.
Yeah. Yep, definitely. Like, how would you? It would be really great if someone else is going by, game wisdom with maybe the A and the M are reverse kind of thing, and you don't want like that. Again, it's all about building and protecting that brand. Now, when it comes to the whole idea of, I guess here's a quick question for you, Rob. Do you find like those giveaways, like, are they like beneficial promotional stuff, or like do they actually like help at all?
Actually, I've found that they don't. We had for one of the games we did, we tried doing a couple of giveaways. We tried doing a sale, like a flash sale, where people would define what they wanted to spend, and none of it really resulted in anything more. The biggest thing for a game is to have word of mouth more than anything. You can luck into a big streamer or article writer, but that's rarely going to happen. So you're looking for word of mouth more than anything, and people who buy it cheap or get it free either don't play it that often or don't feel the need to pass it on. They just kind of be like, oh, free key, and then that's the end of it. Oh, then they might even sell it. Who knows?
Yep. And that's the other big point. Now, a quick question for you from El Gordo. Do you make a blacklist for fake emails?
I have never received the same one twice. I might
Yeah.
have received it once. And so the blacklist thing is a good idea. Don't get me wrong. I haven't done it up to this point. And yes, I should start implementing that. I don't know why it didn't occur to me, but I should be doing that. Yeah, it's a good idea.
Yeah, I know for a lot of stuff that I get, it usually comes from completely different emails each time. When I get, all the crazy Russian emails, the scams like that. But yeah, it's definitely getting more and more important to keep an eye out on this stuff. Now,
Hmm.
I know, like as you're just saying, in terms of key reselling, that G2A is still pretty much like the premier one. I haven't heard anything like else big about them in the last few weeks, though, since we last talked about them.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't heard much either. I just you even pointed it out to me. I hadn't even heard of it before that.
And there's all kinds of stuff you can miss, especially how fast things are going.
Hmm.
Let's see. I'm trying to see if there's anything else new going on Gamma Sutra. I guess for you, Rob, were there any topics that caught your eye?
No, actually, when that was the one that caught my eye, and I started reading it in depth. Let me see if I can't see what else is there. And you have to pardon me if I'm looking up and around. The YouTube video is up big above the camera here, so I'll look like I'm drifting off into nothingness. Um,
Well,
this was one that you had done. There was like an RPG design kind of thing. Oh, 7 great tactical RPGs that every developer should study. That would be very interesting to me. I know that's stuff that you tend to do frequently.
oh yeah, I was just looking at that the earlier today. They did a post about again very great tactical strategy games. Of course, they mentioned Battle Brothers, Fire Emblem. I don't know. I've never felt really in love with the Fire Emblem series. Have you? Do
I
you
played
get?
that on it wasn't even the DS yet, the Game Boy Advance, and the one thing that really caught my attention, it was one of the early ones, was the animation. I thought that
Oh
animation was just
yes.
amazing. Strategy, like the strategy, the tactical RPGs, I tend not to do very often. I mean, I was always drawn into just the turn-based fighting, but I see the benefit to the tactical stuff. It's something I have to play more to really get good at. Right now, I am not.
And of course, they mentioned the Disgaea series, or one game
Hmm.
equals like 500 hours easily if you ever want
Yeah,
to try to
yeah.
get into them.
Yeah, Ark the Lad was one I tried playing. I'm pretty sure I got the whole box set for the PlayStation, and I got through a little bit of the first one. Like, oh damn it, this one's tactical. Oh well. Um, but yeah, all that stuff. I think it's all great because they're all, I mean, spin-offs of RPG. I appreciate all of that stuff.
hmm And one of which are I've been playing a tactical RPG that we'll talk about next when we get to the games we've been playing. Although I will say that I finally bit the bullet, and I pre-ordered the XCOM 2 expansion that's due out next month.
Hmm.
So I've been hearing more and more great things about it, and that series is just one that I just have to throw my money at whenever I hear that there's a new one coming out. So,
Yeah, I know that one's a big one. It's another one on my list of need to play.
mm-hmm. So let's see. There's anything else new? Like, again, because it's the Comic Con week, there's not much in terms of game industry related stuff. But I did like how the article brought up Valkyria Chronicles. So I just did a spotlight on that. I think 2 or 3 weeks ago. It's hard to keep track anymore. But anything else that caught your eye?
No, in that article, I just noticed the Banner Saga. That was one of those I tried streaming, and then it just felt like didn't quite fit the whole streaming
Yeah.
feel.
Yeah, there have been a few games that I've been looking at lately that have been falling into that category. So, I guess we're going to talk about some of the games we've been playing. And this is one of those weeks that went from famine to feast in terms of games to spotlight. I've gotten a lot of emails, especially since I've been publicizing more that I'm willing to examine games to help spotlight new indie titles and such here.
Hmm.
So, I just put up one for this game, which I am fairly sure you haven't heard of this one because I didn't hear about it until I got the email the other day or a week or so ago. Pharmacon.
Pharmacon, no, that sounds cool.
It's a roguelike with puzzle elements to it. You have your attack is based on how you fit like the tetranino pieces, like the old Tetris style pieces, into a grid, and that determines all your attacks and strengths. And then you have to hit enemies and try to knock them into each other to kill them without taking damage, because damage knocks out parts of your grid, which you have to repair in order to fit those pieces back in.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah, it's a very interesting game. I think it's been worked on by one developer for a very long time, so he finally got it out, so I'm hoping people will take a look at it. Let's see. Also started Darksiders 2. I need to get back to that one at some point. Did you play the Darksiders series?
No, again, it's one of those that I apparently own but haven't touched yet. It's sad. It's really sad what I've done with my library.
The other game I looked at was this one called Space Tyrant, which is kind of like a very casual 4X game. It was supposedly developed, I think, by one of the co-founders of PopCap, which I found very interesting.
That is interesting.
It's okay, but it's still like it's pretty much like 1.0 on early access, so it still has quite a bit of time to go before everything is polished. This was a game that I picked up where I got a press key for, Yonder the Cloud Catcher Chronicles. Not an easy name to say very fast. It's a very much like a very casual open world, almost like Harvest Moon simulator kind of game, like very passive game. You can't die in it. There's no combat. It's just about completing side quests and exploring. It looks beautiful. It's like one of those games that's like a very fairy tale look to it.
Yeah.
But it's like, as you were just saying, Rob, it's one of those games that I just can't see streaming it, because it's just going to be me sitting there going, okay, I'm running across the field, still running across the field. Oh, it's getting dark now. I just mined some rock, running across the field, and we'll just repeat that for like an hour and a half at a time.
Yeah, and it's the ones that, for me, the one that's have a lot of big story elements, because then you're just reading for like 20 minutes at a time. It can get, at least from me, from the streaming standpoint, it feels a little dry. So
yeah, like for me, I couldn't sit there and read the text. I read faster than I would say it, so I'm just like going, I just like read the whole thing.
yeah,
And I have to learn to slow down my clicking, because I think people read slower than me. I'm just like speaking through the dialogue so fast.
mm-hmm.
You know, I know like people who stream like visual novel or adventure games.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I don't think I could do that on a stream. It would just be, if I show myself, I'll just be like sleeping at the keyboard, just clicking next.
Yeah. I know when I was streaming Titan Quest, that when the big tech stuff would come up, that's when I would mute my microphone and take drinks. Because, I mean, it was just, I would sometimes make fun of what they're saying, but other times it's just, okay, well, whatever. It's usually meaningless for a game like that.
Oh yeah, Diablo, for instance. Do we really, at this point, does anyone really care about the story of Diablo? I just want my legendary set piece, and when I start tonight, I just want to raise my undead army and just cut a swath across the land. I don't care who Diablo is or the whole big twist. I think one time I was playing, I just went so fast I killed a person before she could say it. I'm like, I'm sorry, what was that whole twist there?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm busy grinding to level 70 here. Exactly. I don't care about that.
Yeah, I need to get that fix of leveling up.
Mm-hmm. Now, one game that I've been playing that I'm really enjoying, let me grab the exact name of it so I can give it. Where is that email? Got so many emails over the last week. Sometimes it just like everything just pops up immediately. Where did it go? Here it is. Galaxy of Pen and Paper. This was a game, I haven't heard about this before. It's like I was saying, it's like a tactical RPG. The theme is you're playing a fictional pen and paper space game with your friends. And so everyone in the game is basically someone who's creating a character for themselves.
Yeah, this reminds me of another one that I've been playing recently, or that I played recently. Where is it? Knights of Pen and Paper. So it's the same series.
Really? Huh.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was part of a
I
series.
mean, it must be. I'm hoping someone didn't just steal their name, but it sounds like it's the same people.
Let's see.
Behold Studios.
I think you may be right. I think it is the same. Well, let's see. Knights of Pen and Paper is done by Key Games, but the publisher I think is the same. Now we're doing some.
It's research, live research. It's yeah, Behold Studios. I see.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I think it's the. I think it's a different studio. It's hard to tell, unless they change their names or something like that.
Yeah, but it looks the same. You have the DM at the desk and the three people, however many party members you have, and you can get different players, and they all have different stats of their own, let alone the type of character they're playing. It's kind of a neat little twist. I'm still getting. It's the game I can play on my laptop. It's kind of casual, so I enjoy that one.
And
And dad, sorry,
I'm
I just
sorry.
noticed El Gordo's dad dating simulator. That's very interesting to me.
Yeah, there's a daddy dating game that was just released, and apparently a lot. Here it is, Dream Daddy, a dad dating simulator. Well, that's our weird game of the week, I suppose. I don't think so. It sounds like a very much a visual novel dating
Yeah.
kind of game. Probably not the best game, considering how much I really loved playing Hateful Boyfriend, or whatever,
Oh,
the one
right.
with the pigeons. I don't know if this would be a game I would particularly enjoy playing there.
Hmm.
But I'm looking at the screenshots for it
Yeah,
right
me too.
now. Okay, then. Getting back to Galaxy of Pen and Paper,
Yeah.
I've really been enjoying playing it. It reminds me a lot of the game Chroma Squad, which came out last year. I'm not sure if you had a chance to look at that one.
Mm-mm.
It's a game that's supposed to be based on the whole Super Sentai, Power Ranger genre.
Oh,
It,
funny.
it's basically about a bunch of stunt actors who decide to get together and make their own Super Sentai show. So you pick who becomes a hero, you pick their catchphrases, and now they make their giant robot. And you get into fights with people dressed in Halloween costumes and just made up props.
That is cool.
They just did a big update to it, I think I want to say a few weeks ago at this point. So I was thinking about maybe doing a stream of that with the updates too, because I played a little bit of it on Twitch year and a half, 2 years ago, but never really got through it all then.
Hmm. Yeah, I see. I must have seen it before. It's on my wish list. So many things. They have a tactical RPG bundle going on, it looks like.
Now, one thing now I found that was very interesting. This game I've been following, Halcyon 6, Star-Based Commander, was a Kickstarted game. I think it's part of that tactical RPG bundle, now that I look at it. And they've been working on the game, like they did the 1.0 release, and the thing is they've been adding in basically brand new systems to the game following 1.0. To the point that it just didn't feel like it was worth it for me to jump into it, because it always seemed like they were adding in something new and new to it. And they are planning, I believe, a re-release of the game called Halcyon 6 Lightspeed Edition.
Oh,
This
cool.
is coming August 10th, and according to it, it's basically going to be like all the stuff they've added. They've added like brand new systems. They've updated how characters progress, the whole shebang. So I'm thinking that'll probably be a good time to jump back into that game. But I guess my question for you, Rob, I want to see what you think about this. Is it's kind of weird to see a game in 1.0 and have so many system patches and updates to it.
Yeah, it is. I've actually one of the developers I worked with had this. We had a discussion about this because his game came out and he had a lot of updates to do right away, and he would update, say, it's an RPG, so there's a bunch of different classes. He would update each class one at a time,
Yeah.
and I was like, no, you got to do it all at once, or else it's kind of weird balance wise. But his point of view is that the more updates you do, the better. And my point of view is, yeah, you can do a lot of updates, but space them out, get a bunch of them at once. But certainly give out bug fixes as frequently as you can.
Yeah.
And because I don't really know, from a player's perspective, I appreciate the big bulk ones. Like, I love that about Terraria, but I know there's a lot of people that don't like like really long times between uh, game updates.
Yeah.
So I know there's a balance there. I don't know what everyone feels about that, so I'd like to hear more information about it.
Yeah, and for those of you watching this, let us know in the comments because I'm definitely interested about that myself. Like, I know, for instance, I've been following the game Stonehearth, which I think I've talked about here on the chat a few times. And Stonehearth has been in development for a very long time. I see that game, I'll go over something about Fight Night. Let's see if I can do two things at once. And Stonehearth is a Kickstarter game as well. They've had many patches, but they do like a patch, like a major patch, like either like every month or every other month. And again, there's always that debate about how often do you want to update a game and such.
Mm.
And especially when it's like, as you said, when it comes to bug fixes and stuff like that, the more the merrier. But if you're actually changing game systems or adding new content, it's kind of weird to see someone keep doing that, especially spreading it out.
Yeah.
Because I guess in my opinion, or how I feel, that it kind of, like, this is what I felt about Halcyon 6. If you keep releasing game-changing content like that, it makes it hard to have a stable play of the game in a sense.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm playing your game and I know in 3 weeks from now you're going to completely redo, the item system, what's
Yeah.
the point of continuing this play? It was kind of like what happened with XCOM 2, with all the patches, the DLC, my friends demanding that I install mods to make the game better. It just got to a point of being overwhelming, and I just stopped playing it. So I figure with the expansion, that'll be a good time again to jump back into it. And the same thing with Halcyon 6.
Yeah, I know that as a player, if I was going through that, I would feel the need to start over from scratch with every single iteration
Mm-hmm.
if there's that much content being added, because I really would. I'd feel like I missed out on something interesting in the early games, in the early part of the game. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's tough for me.
Yeah, I was looking at that game you mentioned, El Gordo, Fight Night. It looks pretty interesting. Eh,
Yeah, I looked it up on Kickstarter.
we'll see what we can do about in terms of promoting that. But getting back to Galaxy of Pen and Paper for a second, one thing I really like, and it reminds again of Chroma Squad, is how the theme really integrates into the entire experience. Like, while people are talking and you see the sci-fi saying, they may cut back to the bedroom, like if something happens or like there's a fire alarm that goes off.
That's
And
funny.
instead of having like new stories, the DM says that, or I'm sorry, it's the GM, the Galactic Master in this game. They go, oh, I need to, in order to add more stuff, I need to buy the expansion, but I can only afford one expansion module right now. Which
That's
one do you
funny.
want to play? And then you choose that, and that determines what your next set of quests are.
And I know there was an interesting thing in the other one is that you can bribe the DM with stuff like here's a soda, like that kind of thing. So there's like this meta game going on. I find very funny.
Mm-hmm. And they also have like a really good like RPG layer to the combat system. You have it's all based on priority, so faster characters will react quicker. You have front and back row, and there's a lot of like synergies in terms of like skills in the game. Like, you have plenty of characters who have a skill that says if the opponent is stunned or poisoned or burning, your skill will now do X on top of its original thing.
That's cool.
So you get those synergies where you'll have like one character will start poisoning the team, and then someone else will capitalize on that poison and either heal your team or do more damage to the entire crew. And that kind of stuff I always love when you can start to really get crazy in terms of team compositions. There we go, and
Yeah.
synergies. Like I always say with like Etrian Odyssey, or when we talked about Zavix Tower last week.
Yeah, I know. The first time I ran across that was in Suikoden 2,
Mm-hmm.
which, yeah, that was very cool because every once in a while you get two characters, even three characters that could do a power together.
Mm-hmm.
And if one of them was absent, that power is gone. But as soon as they're there, you can totally do that. So yeah, I'm like you. I love when that detail is there.
Mm-hmm. It just adds a lot more to the experience. They also do something similar that I found from the game The World Ends With You. That was the DS game that I always bring up. It's one of my loves, basically. It's like my
Gotcha.
favorite thing. It's the most un-Square Enix game to ever come from Square Enix, and that's why I
That's
love it
cool.
so much. Speaking of which, I know they've announced more things with Kingdom Hearts. You know the Kingdom Hearts series?
Oh, yeah, yeah. I played the first one. I
Yeah, me
haven't played
too.
anyone after that.
There's a story there. I
Hmm.
just have no idea what that story is at this point. But they announced that one of the worlds in Kingdom Hearts 3, I think, like they've done like 8 or 10 different side sequels and side stories, but the new one will have a Toy Story world, which looks
Oh,
pretty
interesting.
cool.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
And with the Worlds with You or with Galaxy of Pen and Paper, all the encounters work along the same principle that you build the encounter based on what enemies are in the area. And they actually reward you based on how hard you make the battle. Like they have a difficulty gauge, and as you add more enemies or stronger enemies, the bar fills up and up and up. And at different thresholds, you may get more gold, more experience, more items, but you're obviously making the battle harder in the
Yeah.
process for that.
Yeah, Knights of Pen and Paper has that as well.
I, Now you got me curious. Like, is this the same developer? They changed their name, or did someone just really decide to copy this game?
I would imagine it's the same because the art style is also very similar. So I thought I saw in the what is it? Is it what is the space one?
Galaxy of Pen and
Galaxy.
Paper.
I believe that there was like one commonality. There it is. Between the it was where is it? Where is it? Where's the Behold Studios? That's the only commonality in terms of name that I could find. Yeah, if you do a search for them, you'll see that they have Chroma Squad. Weird. Okay, same guys. Knights of Pen and
Ah,
Paper, Galaxy of Pen and Paper, Chroma Squad soundtrack, and Tactical RPG
well,
bundle.
that explains a lot because the game was giving me that Chroma Squad feel by the look of it. So
Yeah,
it is good that they're. I I completely lost touch with the developer after I looked at Chroma Squad. So I thought like they may have went under or something, but it's good to hear that they're still around. It's also great to hear that one of my favorite games from them was Chroma Squad, and now I'm really liking Galaxy of Pen and Paper. But yeah, now I'm going to have to look into that Knights of Pen and Paper too, just to see what that's all about.
yeah. I'm sure it's the same, but with fewer features.
Yeah. And also because the game it takes place in the 90s, you have like all like the 90s music and sounds like an episode like Saved by the Bell or Full
That's
House at
funny.
some point. But yeah, I'm enjoying that game. I already made the video spotlight for it, but the developer asked I wait until closer to the launch, which is, I believe, next Thursday that's coming out. I can quickly check the store page.
It says July 27th.
Okay, so yeah,
Yeah.
so next Thursday, so I'll probably have my spotlight video up either Wednesday or Thursday, but as I said in the video, if there's an interest in me doing a let's play of that, I would certainly not have any trouble playing that game because I am really getting into that one. And it's good to hear that I'm getting into all their games too.
Yeah. I mean, the Chroma Squad sounds great, and I'm definitely going to be interested in Galaxy of Pen and Paper.
Let's see. Yeah, I think there's two Knights of Pen and Paper. Let's see. Yeah, Knights of Pen and Paper, and then, yep, there's two of them. And apparently, I typed that in, I brought up Pirates, Vikings, and Knights, which is probably by something completely different there.
Did you do a search on the web or on
On
Steam?
Steam.
Because I
Steam
only
can
saw the
pull some very weird stuff when you type things in like that.
Knights of Pen and Paper 2. Now, is that one by the same people?
That's done by the Key Games.
Yeah, that's strange. Paradox is also involved. That's strange because I don't see Behold Studios
Yeah,
anywhere in there.
yeah, that is odd.
It is odd. Maybe those guys split up and one kept Behold and one went to Key.
Uh, it's a big mystery for everyone here. Yeah,
Yeah.
the first one that is definitely in the same style as Galaxy of Pen and Paper. Obviously, not as detailed,
Hmm.
but yeah. So I wonder what happened there.
Yeah, that is. It's one of those strange stories. Like properties bounce around.
Hmm.
Such a weird business.
Definitely. Let's see. We are about 43 minutes in. I figure, let's see, there's anything else game wise? I guess for you, Rob, have you been playing anything new since we last spoke?
Well, the only new things that I've been doing lately, I finally finished Titan Quest, which was an awesome achievement, and I'll get back to that. I'll keep going in the next level of difficulty when I get back from moving. I think the first thing I'm going to do though is try and do a speed run of that the first playthrough, the easy level or normal. But the funniest thing happened is that I was streaming it last weekend, and on Saturday, one of the people viewing was like, "Hey, can I give you a bunch of items to make it less painful to watch you play?" And so yeah, during the stream, we both hooked up on a server. He gave me what amounted to a Santa outfit, and suddenly I was like Superman on Titan Quest, just running around slaughtering everything. Which made it. I enjoy that for some reason. I enjoy being OP sometimes. But yeah, that's what happened there. And then since that, I've been watching tons of like Planet Coaster streams, which is interesting to me. I know it's boring for a lot of people, but I've been getting a lot of information from it.
Hmm. I know when we last week you were planning on doing like a VR, a first person tour of a coaster or first person tour of a park. How did that go?
Okay, so I did a quick play test of that, and some of the parks that are out there, just my poor computer can't handle it.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be going back and forth and trying some stuff out there and seeing if I can't do it, because I do when I watch stuff on Twitch, like there's plenty of stuff that's not too exciting, more fish tanky.
Yeah, I'm sure when I try and play XCOM 2 next month, my computer will probably I'll start to hear the fire alarm go off when I start trying to run that. But it's not
Yeah,
gonna. Hopefully, it won't completely deter me from trying to get through a whole campaign of it.
yeah.
Let's see. I guess did you ever get a chance to play Grim Dawn yet?
Grim Dawn. I know I have not, obviously, but let me just double check here.
That
What? Okay, got it up. Ooh, neat. Okay, so gotcha. Yeah, I remember you talking about this. No, I haven't. I'm gonna have to. I put it on my wish list, and when I do have the opportunity or it goes on sale, it will be mine.
nice. Let's see. I guess for a I guess a somewhat of a final topic because I know again we are recording this or streaming this on Comic Con night, so probably everyone's going to be a little too busy to be hanging out with us here. But
Yeah.
I guess one thing I want to talk to you about, and this goes from the live stream I did the other day, was the importance of playtesting. And when we spoke about this the other day, we talked about how it feels like it's very much an underrated aspect for a lot of developers. So I just want to get your thoughts on it as both a publisher and someone who's worked with games about what it means to play test and get good feedback.
Well, I've certainly worked on all areas of this from all angles because when I started in the business, I started as a tester for a AAA games company. And of course, I mean, back then when it was on disc, so it was all physical copies, testing was paramount. Like you had to have it perfect before you sent it out because you can't update it, you can't patch it. So we had a team of like 100 testers working on that stuff. And certainly then the importance of getting quality out is great. But as time went on and patches became more of a reality, testing suddenly kind of took back a back seat in terms of that versus content. And so you'll have a lot of bugs out there in modern games that they're just going to patch as it goes on,
Hmm.
which is annoying to me because I feel like when I run into a major bug, I feel like why didn't you guys fix this already? I feel like I just got, you know, I lost money all of a sudden. But I do believe playtesting is huge. If you're an independent developer, you need other people to look at it and give you feedback. If you don't have that, then you're kind of dead in the water in terms of launching your game because one, no one's really looked at your game, and you've never had that feedback to actually find out what's fun to people and not and what isn't. I know in terms of me, I like to do even further back and do play tests with just the very basic concept. And then when you have some numbers to put into the game, I like to run a bunch of put it in like an Excel spreadsheet and run the numbers a bunch of times and see, okay, well, is this balanced? And then of course there's balance versus fun. And so you have to play with people and make sure you have people looking at your game, or else you're not going to have a fun game, let alone a popular one.
Mm-hmm. And we definitely talk about the importance of trying to pull an aggregate of all the data you collect, because one person telling you your game is great or sucks doesn't really do much.
Yeah.
If 500 people say that, that's a different story.
Yes, indeed.
I guess here's a question for you, Rob. How do you handle overly bad and overly positive feedback? Because there's always that issue of some developers who will just focus entirely on the positive and ignore bad feedback.
Yeah.
Or if someone says anything bad, they'll just completely write it off, kind of.
Yeah, I feel like when you have really bad feedback, it's always important to respond to any feedback, I believe. But if you respond to bad feedback, chances are that person will step back a little bit in terms of what they said, because suddenly they're talking to a person instead of just shouting out into nothing. So I encourage people to do that. Even if it's just completely unreasonable, you can comment on that and say, hey, well, we tried to do this and that couldn't work. But it calms the waters a little bit. It allows other people to see that, you know what, you're actually responding to everybody, not just the people who you like or whatever. But yeah, I believe it's important. Bad feedback, in terms of taking it with a grain of salt. You just got to read between the lines and find out, what is the problem? Does anyone else have that problem? If someone's that passionate about the game, there's something good there. Generally, people who played it for 5 minutes aren't going to go on a rant about how bad your game is. I have seen people will say, I played this game for 60 hours and I hate it. So that's another weirdness that you get. But usually if it's a passionate response, there's something good there and you can work with it, because people are enjoying the game to a point, at the very least, to be long-winded about that response.
Mm-hmm. I know Olor is talking about kind of the challenges of, as you said, that difference in QA these days, in terms of trying to focus on either day one patches or post-release patches. And it can certainly lead to cases where the game is really not in a good state at launch, because sadly we've seen that in some cases, from even in the AAA sense, with something like Mass Effect Andromeda coming out and just completely underwhelming everyone there. And it's always that balance of trying to work on your game versus fixing what's there. I know in the independent space, when I've been reading forums of like early access games and stuff like that, there's always people who say, they'll either say, why do you keep putting out content? So and so is still broken, fix that. And then there's other people who say, you keep fixing all this stuff, but when are we going to see so and so?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a weird thing out there. And Diablo 3 was kind of an infamous launch way back when it came out.
Mm-hmm. And it took them a whole lot of patches and a whole lot of time to kind of relaunch that game. And I know, El Gordo, you were telling me about this on Twitter earlier today, that someone was relaunching a game, trying to again have that kind of redemption play that we've been seeing in some cases in the independent scene, when a game that didn't do so well will be relaunched under like a new name, or they'll have special edition or heightened version or stuff like that, to try and fix all those issues that people ran into in the first place. A good example would be something like Brigador, which I don't think we've talked about that here yet. It's an isometric game, synthwave music, supposed to be like an 80s style look to it. All done in like the isometric look of something like a Desert Strike or a Jungle Strike, like those old school games. I've been trying to get the developer for it back on, so hopefully he'll get back to me. Maybe he's busy paying attention to Comic-Con right now. But it's always interesting about, and this goes back to what we were saying, there's always that line between how much do you continue to work on a game versus taking all that time and money and putting it towards something else. And it's always very hard to figure that point out.
Yeah, if the bigger the game, the more chances you're having a specific team of people work on bug fixes and the other team working on new features. So I believe in a bigger studio you have that benefit. for smaller games, certainly it's one developer or five developers just trying to figure out how to balance their time, especially if they all have day jobs. So it's I don't know how you choose what your level of importance is for each one, because there are benefits. I know you can get really excited about new features as a developer and ignore bugs like that because they're boring. But yeah, it is. I couldn't tell you what's the best way to go.
Yeah. I just remember one other game that I played this week. I played the latest game from Ed McMillan, the guy behind Super Meat Boy. The End is Nigh.
Oh yeah.
And it is a brutal platformer. Definitely up there in terms of difficulty. I had to wave the white flag at the point where they introduce a limited life pool to the game.
Oh god.
I'm just like, no, I'm done. Cash me out. I'm done with this. I don't want to play it anymore.
Yeah, I love. I mean, there are games out there that are hard for hard's sake, and I can appreciate that. I feel like, growing up, that's kind of what they were going for, to extend the play of the game, like falsely. I mean, Mega Man's not that long of a game, but man, is it hard, and that makes it a longer game to play. But yeah, these games that are out there, they seem specifically targeted at speedrunners and people who love that kind of stuff.
Yeah, like I was watching the Summer Games Done Quick that just happened. I think it was last week or the week before, and someone did a not a Super Mario World, but a Hack ROM Super Kaizo World or something like that.
I saw a bit of that. Yeah,
I'm just like watching, going, I will never do that in a million years. I'm just like, who the hell designed that? That is just mean. Something went horribly wrong there to make a game like that.
Yeah, that it is hard to watch because you can die just touching things. I forget the other game that was famous for that. But yeah,
I Want to Be the Guy, maybe.
That was it. Yeah.
I did play a little bit of I Want to Be the Guy. Did not get far in that one. But yeah, like
the boss. That was it.
Yeah. Each year they have like some kind of Kaizo run or whatever they call it. And I'm just watching that stuff going, like part of me goes, I could do that. It looks easy. And then I just start seeing like the advanced stuff when it's like pixel perfect jumps. I'm like, no, I can't do that. The skills just don't match.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like a 1001 Spikes 2 I think would fit that too. Yeah, that one was just annoying. They put in all kinds of booby traps and like spikes, but there's no way to discern where the spikes are versus what's normal. The only way is to basically die to solve it. Yeah, that was another one that just drove me nuts after like a few minutes of play.
Yeah, I think that was the feature I loved most about Super Meat Boy, is that as you die over and over again, you see your previous runs.
Yeah.
And I find that funny to just watch the number of times you died at any particular thing.
Mm-hmm. And then and the fact that it's quick too, like you don't have to worry about running out of lives or restarting.
Mm-hmm.
You can go through 50 runs like it's like 5 minutes long. And you can watch all of them just like the wave of death through the level once you've finished.
Yeah, that is a lot of fun. I don't know how the new one is.
Yeah. Oh boy, I did put up a few streams of The End Is Nigh if you want to check it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it got. I think at one point, I think everyone just got tired watching me just like die. Like it got to the point where I couldn't even describe the thing fast enough because I was just dying. Like, and so I'm gonna make the. I'm going to. I need to. Like you can just see this. All right. I think we are approaching an hour. And again, it is a very hot Thursday night. I figure we could probably start to wrap things up for tonight. So I guess for you, Rob, do you have anything to wrap up on or to conclude with?
No, I guess I'm not going to be here next week. And this weekend I'm streaming Planet Coaster. The next week I'm going to be doing my speedrun on Titan Quest, as I mentioned. But actually, no, yeah, this weekend and then the next weekend I'm moving, and then the weekend after that is my speedrun of Titan Quest. But yeah, that's all I got going.
All right. So for those of you watching this either live or record, I should have a recorded podcast up. Again, I have no idea what it's going to be until I start listening to it. But I'll be making an update video about this for next week. But as a bit of a spoiler now, probably Thursday afternoon. I guess while you are busy moving and such, I'll be doing a live cast with one of the people from Peterson Games, the developers behind Cthulhu Wars. So we're right now just fine tuning the schedule or when we're going to be doing it. But that will be the heads up for Thursday. And again, if you missed the live cast, it will of course be archived here on YouTube as well. And again, if you are an indie developer watching this who have a game that you're working on that you would like me to take a look at, don't hesitate to get in touch, Josh at game-wisdom.com. And if you would like to come on and chat for a record or a live cast, definitely let me know. Once again, thank you to everyone who has donated to Patreon this month. And again, if you'd like to tune in for the special workshop streams for throughout August, that reward will only be available for another, I guess will be another 11 days. So you can find it at patreon.com/I think Game Wisdom or GW Bycer for more details. Get in because at this point I don't know if I'll be offering it again in the future. I still need to get to work on that idea behind an ebook, but also coming in August, I know GDC is putting up these submissions for GDC 2018. So I've been putting together an idea that I'm going to try and pitch, and fingers crossed I can get past the first stage of just submitting it. But I think that's all I have to say. So for those of you watching this live right now, come on back in about 20-30 minutes because I got some Diablo 3 that I've been itching to do. And Rob, if you wouldn't be so opposed to pitch your stream, feel free.
Oh, I think I already did. /Indie Voyage Rob on Twitch. So I'd stop by and check us out, and I'd love to see you there.
All right. So I think with that, we will say goodnight. So thank you so much for watching this, whether you are enjoying this live or recorded. Be sure to like and subscribe if you're new, and check back for daily discussions on game design here and on GameWisdom.com, where we examine the art and science of games. So while you won't be seeing Rob next week, you will hopefully be seeing me. And Rob, again, it was a pleasure hanging out with you today. Best of luck with your move next week, and we'll be sure to catch up the week after that.
All right, thanks so much. I will talk to you in a couple weeks.
Awesome. All right, folks, with all that said, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you all next time.